Louisiana is number one in the U.S. in incarcerating our citizens. And since the U.S. is number one in incarcerations in the world, that makes Louisiana number one in the world as well. Presently, we incarcerate 1 out of every 26 Louisianians, while the national rate is 1 in 100. The really sad statistic is that over 65% of those incarcerated individuals are parents of children under the age of 12. These children, the children of the incarcerated, are truly the hidden victims of crime, because these children are also 75% more likely to be abused and neglected due to the fact that they have a parent, or in many cases parents, who are incarcerated. They are also 7 times more likely to follow in the footsteps of their parents into criminal activity and ultimately doing prison time. Hello, I'm Elaine Ellerby, National Consultant Trainer for the Nurturing Parenting Programs, as well as CEO of Reentry Benefiting Families. And those are some pretty heart-wrenching statistics, wouldn't you agree? I want to thank you for taking the time to view this brief video that is intended to provide insights into the issues facing incarcerated parents and their children, as well as highlight the positive results we are seeing through the use of nurturing parenting programs within the present setting. In the past 10 years, much research has focused on the brain development of children and the negative effects on that development of early abuse and neglect. From birth to 5 years old is the most critical time for the healthy development of a child. It is during this time of life that children who are nurtured begin to develop empathy and compassion for the world around them. Conversely, the breakdown of child-parent bonding and attachment, being abused, neglected, as well as just not being nurtured properly, can have long-term ramifications on children. Lack of nurturing, neglect, and/or abuse can manifest itself in minimal ways, such as developmental delays, conduct, or acting out, to the extremes of deviant disorders such as sociopathic, even psychopathic behaviors, all leading to juvenile and adult criminal activity. According to many child behavior experts, these dysfunctions can become evident in children as young as 5 years old. For the offender population, many of them never had the opportunity to be nurtured and well cared for by a loving parent. And unfortunately, we all, in the void of having any other teaching or instruction, parent as we were parented, or were not parented. As I say to all my parenting students, children do not come in this world with an instruction manual. All parents can benefit from learning nurturing skills, yet it is our children that become the main beneficiaries of having a competent, nurturing parent to love them and help them grow. Teaching nurturing parenting skills to incarcerated parents is extremely effective in breaking the cycle of criminal behavior, preventing abuse and neglect of their children, and lowering recidivism. During the next few minutes, you will hear from incarcerated fathers who have participated in the evidence-based Nurturing Parenting Program and the National Fatherhood Initiative's Inside Out Dad program, as well as hear from one of our dads who has actually gone home. They will tell you in their own words the difference they see in their lives and their children. And you'll also hear from community leaders who agree that providing parenting to this unique population is extremely important. With all the negative stories that we hear about deadbeat dads, we are so glad to be able to share a few stories about some upbeat dads who are striving to be the best dads they can be. Thank you. So now that we've heard how important it is for child-parent attachment and how important also that fathers are in the lives of their children, let's go see what some of our incarcerated fathers who are participating in parenting programs right now have to say.
Well, my name is Walter Washington, and I'm the father of 3, 2 boys and a girl. My baby son is 13, finna be. I have a daughter, 15, and I have a son, finna be 18. Lil Walter, Keandra, and Kendall.
Okay. How long you been here?
Well, I've been in DCI approximately going on 9 years. I've been incarcerated going on 12.
Okay, very good. Well, let me ask you this. What kind of dad were you before you came here?
Well, the kind of dad I would classify myself as when I come to prison was more of a provider instead of a teacher, a caring father. Because me being in the streets, being misguided, thinking the father's supposed to be this, when all the time I was wrong. I did mostly bind instead of guiding my kids the right way, telling them why they should go to school instead of just sending them to school.
Okay. Did you realize when you got involved with the parenting programs here at Dixon that you needed to? What motivated you to get involved in them?
Well, when I first started participating in the parenting programs here at DCI, I knew that I needed some better skills than what I had before, because, you know, as I looked at my life in the past and where I was that specific time, I knew that I'm gonna consider myself to be a deadbeat dad, because, you know, I did the same things to my kid that happened to me coming up when I was a kid, and I knew that it was wrong. So I had to find some kind of ways to break the cycle of having my kids being raised without a father, just like myself.
I've been involved in the Reading Me Daddy program, which I'm now a facilitator of through my experience and through the learning and teaching that I've got and I share with other brothers. I've also participated in the Reading Me Daddy program, and that's where you do a DVD, sort of like a documentary, reading children's book to your children. The programs that I have participated in today, being in DCI, have helped me with my family and kids dramatically. Our relationship today has a father and a kid supposed to be. We have established a relationship as being friends, and me being their father as well. And throughout the programming and the teaching that I have, it teaches me to help my kids understand that I am their father, I am their friend. But my advice to them gonna be more as a father instead of a friend, because I don't want to see them make the same mistakes that I made. This is my son. He's 1 year old. This when I was 17. I actually worked at a local grocery store. I had my own apartment with his mother, and we lived together. And this is when I was 17. He was only 1 year old. As I said, I took pride in my family. I love my son dearly. Matter of fact, today is his birthday. This was 1. Now he's 17. I became in a relationship with a lady who had 4 kids, which wasn't no problem with me, because as I said, I was raised by my stepfather. And I never looked at him as a stepfather, because his love was past anything that was part-time. So he is my father. But this is a picture of us in 1999. As you see, you know, we're all together, family pictures. We did this a lot. Like I said, I was a father, but I just had a lot of the tools mixed up. And I always wanted better, but the resources and the things I needed to do better, I really didn't have a full knowledge of it. Some of the things I've learned through the parenting class actually has taught me to not just be a provider, you know, not to just be around, to actually interact with them. Don't just be the person who tell them what to do, but I'll tell them and show them. I mean by lead by example. When I come to learn through this class that a lot of times a relationship, just knowing, bonding, come and understand that you was a child, you grew up, you dealt with some of these problems, and as well as giving them some time to experience some things, because in some situations experience is your best teacher, but in a lot of other areas you can actually learn from others. As when we come together in these classes and we share with each other, I see different viewpoints. I highly recommend the parenting classes here in DCI or whatever facility you may be in, because you get a chance to experience the faults that men come from in all different walks of life. You get to see the mistakes and you get to hear them, and you'll be able to determine and make the right choices not to make the same mistakes that they made in life. And you get a chance to hear brothers come and share their ideas of what a good father's supposed to be, rather than what a bad father is.
Dylan, when you first volunteered to participate in the Read to Me Daddy program, you knew your son, Caden, was actually in foster care. Why did you want to participate in the program knowing that you might not be able to connect to him?
I wanted to participate on a personal note that I thought that we were losing a lot of connection we had, and I didn't want him to forget about me. You know, it always stuck in the back of my mind that he was gonna forget about me. And I mean, it's not really that long of a time span, but I mean, we've been so attached to each other since he was born that that's what I was afraid of. I was afraid of him forgetting about me because he was so young, and so I think that's the reason why I volunteered for it.
now that you've done your recording and we have the book and we're going to be able to send it to your son, how does that make you feel now?
It makes me feel good because I know we one step closer. Hopefully this month he'll be watching me and seeing my face again and hearing my voice again.
We started with a parenting program both for the hunt population and the impact boot camp program. We feel by having these type of programs, the offender will be better prepared, when he's released, to return back to his family. Today we had a Read to Me Dads program, which we thank Ms. Ellaby for bringing that to our facility. Inmates are reading to their children, which they're very excited about having to do that. I mean, when I used to read to my kids, how excited they used to be when I did that. So these offenders are having a chance to do this with their kids. So when they are released, they have a good relationship with their children.
It was a struggle at first, I must say, because those mad days came. So, but now things are starting to smooth out, and time takes on, so it's getting a whole lot better.
Do you think some of the skills you learned in your parenting classes you were able to draw on to be able to help you through those hard times?
Most definitely. For me, more. For me, dealing with the things that's coming back at me, that really helped.
Do you believe the parenting classes you took helped you, and how?
Yes, they helped me a whole lot of ways, especially like I was saying earlier, for like the backlashes of me not being there and they coming at me with those words, you not been there for me. I think if I wouldn't have took those classes, it'd have been like I'd have probably been doing more fussing than trying to listen.
Do you think you would have been successful getting home and going home if you hadn't taken the classes?
My goals was to be successful, but those classes helped me a whole lot.
And what kind of dad would you say you are now?
Perfect. Like I say, I have problems too, but I work on them, and when they bring them to me, I listen and I try to fix it.
Providing life skills programs as well as parenting programs to incarcerated populations and other under-resourced families is not only the right thing to do, it is also the smart thing to do in terms of lowering recidivism and saving taxpayer dollars. We met with a couple of our key Louisiana leaders recently, so let's see what they have to say.
I think it's a tremendous asset and adds tremendous value to the incarcerated population when we have organizations that come in and provide parenting skills and life skills, because the whole point behind incarceration in many instances is rehabilitation. And so if you are indeed committed to the concept of rehabilitation for many of the incarcerated, then it's important that we prepare them for transitioning back into society. And we know through statistical information that there are thousands of individuals who are incarcerated who are also fathers and in many instances mothers, and so equipping them with the tools that will help them be effective parents when they get back out into society is extremely important and extremely valuable, in addition to laying a great foundation with life skills. I have seen the value of these programs at work, and I have no doubt that they serve as an excellent foundation for individuals who will be released.
Our offender population, one of the, when you look at the profile of when they come into our system, they are a challenge, to say the least. And what's happening, especially in the area of family services, especially in the area of